Now joined by the girls track and field coach at McKinney Boyd High School, Laura Keahey, and we're going to talk about her season as well as a little bit of the boys track and field season. And Coach, you've had several runners and field players that had tremendous seasons in track and field, but none more so than Aaliyah Miller, who was the Sports Day girls track athlete of the year. She won 2 events at the state meet, the 1600, which is the mile, and the 800. How proud of you are her as a sophomore to accomplish such a feat?
I don't even have the words for it. She is such a hard worker and such a good girl and does all the right things. So to see someone that's doing all the right things have success is just it's beyond words.
Throughout the season leading up to that state meet, did you get a strong sense from her that she was going to be able to win both events, or was there maybe one or both of them going into the state meet that you were just kind of hoping things would come her way?
We had a really good feeling about the 800. She is very experienced at that distance and has been in some high-pressure races at that distance before, so we had a really good feeling about that race. The mile was a new race for her. She typically has run the 400 in addition to the 800, and we thought we would try the mile this year because it might have a little bit better turnaround at the state meet. She took a leap of faith and really listened to the coaches and stayed open-minded. I think when she got to Texas Relays and she won the high school girls mile there, we all kind of sat back and thought, this is a way bigger possibility than we initially thought. So once we saw what she was able to do at Texas Relays with as little experience at that distance as she had, the sky was the limit.
Yeah, to go into such a big event and win it like she did, definitely give her the confidence going to the state meet. Let's take a look now. We have her 800-meter race. We're not going to show the mile because even for Aaliyah that might take a little long, but we're going to show the 800-meter race coming up. And so it's 800 meters. That's 2 laps around the track. There's Aaliyah just to the right of that number 7 sign and just in front of the number 6 sign. That is where she's going to take off from. And she quickly here in the opening seconds of the race makes up that distance with the person on the lane outside of her.
Yeah, right about now she's made up the stagger for the turn, and that's the last time she ever saw the back of anybody else.
That number 5 just inside of her from DeSoto, that is who ends up coming in second place. And pretty much from this point on, she just slowly and gradually extends that gap. Why did she want to run in front in this race the whole way rather than maybe sit back in the pack and conserve energy and wait for a finishing kick?
Her best time from last year was a 2:10, and that was at the state meet. And so coming into this state meet, the fastest time was actually Cameron Grigsby. That's the girl from DeSoto in second place right now. And her best time was a 2:13. So Aaliyah kind of knew what the rest of the pack was going to be able to do, and she wanted to get the state record. So had she sat back and relaxed a little bit and waited on a kick at the end, that record wouldn't have happened.
She also set the 3rd best time in the area for the 400 meter this year, which she did not run at the state meet because you're only allowed to run 2 of those distances. They don't let you compete in all of those events. So for her, knowing that she had such a good 400 time, why'd you end up deciding, let's go with the mile this year instead of the 400?
In that 400, it's really first of all, it's a quicker turnaround from the 800 to the 400. She was going to get more rest with the mile. And that 400 is so short compared to the 1600 meter that if you are really fatigued, there's very little room for error. And I feel really confident she probably could have won that too, but we thought we would try this mile. It's a really good way to showcase her range, that she can go anywhere from a 400 up to a 5K like we saw in cross country and really do well at any of it. So this was a new race for her, and she just handled it like a champ.
And notice how the camera's doing its best to capture the rest of the field, but it's kind of hard to keep track of Aaliyah and then keep track of the rest of the field in one shot. Here she comes through the finish line, and that is a new state record, a time of 2:07.07, and she's only about 4 or 5 seconds off the national record in that event too, so could potentially, with 2 more years to go, she might be able to sneak up on that national record.
I think so. With Aaliyah, I think she's capable of doing anything she sets her mind to. She has the work ethic to back it up, so it's just a matter of time and experience at this point.
And for her, with 2 more years, there's still so much left of time here in high school, but you think after winning 2 state championships that, well, what else is there left to do? But she really wants that mile record, I hear.
I think she wants the mile record, and I think there's no reason she doesn't medal or get a gold in the 400. And I'm trying to talk her into the 2 mile, but I haven't had any success yet. We still got 2 years to work on it. So I think she'd be one of the few people to ever medal in all 4 by the time she graduates.
Now, Leah was the only member of your girls' team that went to the state meet, but you had several go to the regional meet, had a couple top finishes. One of those being your 4x400 relay team that Aaliyah was the anchor leg on, and they finished 4th, though they were just off a podium spot at the regional meet.
Yes, those girls on that team have worked really hard together for the past 2 years, and all but one of those will return next year. So we do have that one open spot. We've got a lot of strong freshmen coming in that will fill that spot if they continue to work like they have this past season.
And Michaela Keeney, she competes in the discus and the shot put. She finished 3rd in both events at the district meet, and in the discus it was as she went to regionals, correct?
Yes.
So she goes and has that experience, and she finishes in the top 8. So very impressive for someone so young to do that well.
Yes, and she not only finished in the top 8, she PR'd twice in that same meet. So it's a big stage, it's a big meet, a lot of pressure, and she handled it like a pro.
Also, there's several boys track athletes that did well. I know Coach Johnson isn't here today, but wanted to mention a couple of their athletes. Reiko Schwartz was probably the best consistent finisher on the boys team throughout the season. He won the 400 meters at the district meet, and in regionals he was oh so close to going to state, just finished outside that top 3.
Yes, and Reiko, what I said about Aaliyah having the work ethic and the dedication, Reiko is the exact same. He has that work ethic. He actually came and ran cross country in the fall, not because he's really a distance guy, but because Coach Johnson told him that's what he needed to do to get to that next level, and he improved his 400-meter time by 2 seconds doing things just like that. I'm really proud of him. The
boys 4x400 meter relay team, they also advanced to regionals, as did a couple of runners in the 3200 meter event. Jason Reynolds finished 10th in that event, and Devin Lord finished 12th. So 2 guys in the same event able to get to regionals. That's something in of itself an accomplishment.
Yes, Devin's a senior, and so that was his last race. Jason is a junior, so he will be back. And Jason has also done tremendous work over the course of the last year. He was not a varsity runner last year, but he really dedicated himself to working to increasing his mileage, and it paid off for him.
Also want to ask you one more question about Leah before I let you go. It's a question I'm sure you're asked a lot about what her potential future is. Can she become an Olympian? Because that's, for track and field, the golden stage that everybody tries to work to accomplish. Is she someone that you could see eventually getting to Eugene to go into the U.S. Olympic trials and potentially maybe make an Olympic team in the future?
I think she absolutely can. She has the talent. She has the work ethic. It's just a matter of getting experience and training and continuing to do the same thing she's been doing.
We'll see. We've had an Olympian in the Winter Olympics this year. That was a former student at McKinney High. Maybe in the future we'll have a Boyd girls track athlete going to the Olympics.
We hope so.
Coach Keahey, thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate your time, and good luck to you guys next season.
Thank you very much.
That's the girls track and field season, as well as some of the boys and track field season update for you from McKinney Boyd High School.